conversation left a mark. Every story carried truth. This season wasn't about being perfect. It was about being present to everyone who showed up, who spoke honestly, who listened with an open heart. Thank you. This is not the end. It's a becoming. Welcome to Authentic, where real stories meet real hearts. This is your sanctuary. A space for truth, transformation, and tender conversations. Here, we unmask the pressure to perform and lean into who we really are. Whether you're searching, healing, or rising, we see you. You are allowed to look good, feel good, and leave this space feeling bold. So, take a breath, be still, and come home to you. This is Authentic. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Authentic. I'm your host, Rayon, and I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Authentic, the show where we speak about all things healing and finding our authentic self. Today is a bit of a bittersweet because it is the final episode of season 1. All good things must come to an end, so they say. But I want to give a big shout out to everyone who has subscribed to the show, everyone who has watched, everyone who has left their comment, everyone who has been a part of this authentic journey. And I hope that this show gave you some sense of hope of going on your own personal journey. And remember, the greatest thing you could ever be in this life is be yourself. I want to give a big shout out to Talisa Linda Johnson. I want to give a big shout out to Jason Kennedy, or give a shout out to Hilton Grace, Paula Herlock, Jabari, and Kiosha Cousins. I want to give a big shout out to all my guests, everyone who has been a part of the show, everyone who has been a part of the season, everyone who has been a part of the Authentic Street Edition, Authentically Approved. It has been an ongoing journey, an ongoing process, and it brought me so much joy because within darkness, there comes light. And I think Authentic was my light. And what better ways to share it with other people? But today, we are not at the end yet. I have a special episode today, and it's a bit of a reflective episode, looking back on a previous episode and some of the work we've done. So thank you again for joining us, and stay tuned for that. Authentic was never about having the answers. It was creating a space that reflects healing, growth, love, joy, chaos, peace, and finding our authentic self. And this season has been a mirror, and we've had some powerful guests that really amplified that truth. For instance, Talisa Linda Johnson. We kicked off the season with her. Let's take a look.
But it really requires you to accept when you become aware of who you are, who you are being, and that's going to be only in community. People will have to give you feedback. And when people give you feedback, and even though it might hurt your feelings, this is like you come into a space of learning how you are impacting your world. We are no one out of community. Our identity is wrapped in relationship with other people. Other people mirror who we are because you have an idea of who you are, right? How do you know? That's how you're showing up. People have to tell you.
In episode 3, we spoke with Hilton Grace, love in real life. Love isn't a fairy tale. It's patience, it's presence, it's persistence. It's showing up every day, even when it's not convenient.
And I like how you use the term attachment, because there's a whole theory in psychology called attachment theory, which looks basically at how we attach to our early caregivers, and depending on what that relationship was, then it kind of helps to determine how we also show up. And so, like you said, people generally seem to attach to people without understanding why. And many times it is sometimes deficits that we have identified in ourselves and we are trying to gain from the other person. You know, there used to be the saying of that we are two halves, but the truth is we are whole persons who engage with another whole person, and together we become dynamic and beautiful. It's not my other half, because if you're half, you're really not really being optimal. You're just being a part of. Yeah.
In episode 4, we spoke with Paula Herlock about breaking generational cycles. Some cycles don't break on their own. Some of them take someone who is brave enough to get up and inflict change.
There's a huge, so definitely the mother and father wound, huge and terrible, very prevalent. Every single dysfunction that we can see in a person has to do with the mother and father wound. Then next to that comes the adverse childhood experiences, which have to do with traumatic experiences that a child has when they're in their formative years, usually between 0 and maybe 10, 11 years old. Maybe a little older, maybe up to 14 years old. But these traumas, when they happen, they scar the person emotionally or mentally for life. And it usually bears out in behaviors that are less than an ideal when they become adults, and even leads to illnesses. A lot of the diabetes and the hypertension and cancers that we see today among people that are between 40 and 60 years old have a strong foundation in adverse childhood experiences.
Episode 5, we spoke with Kiosha Cousins. Peace doesn't always come when the noise stops. Sometimes it's finding peace within the middle of the storm.
I'm being honest, like this year a lot happened. I started a business, I got married, I left
Congratulations.
UCCI to actually join UWI and start my bachelor's, and it's
Love
just
that.
like through all of that I lost so many friends, and I don't know if I know it's definitely not something I do, and I know people grow apart, but it's just like it's people who I thought would support me, or you know, through all of this, probably I can say 2% have truly like stuck with me and motivate me. But definitely just starting everything, it was new, so it was scary. You know? I mean, UWI is a completely different
Ball game.
environment.
Oh yeah, that's a
than
totally
UCCI.
different ball game.
So my degree is online, so I have to have a lot of discipline.
The discipline to actually follow through, yeah.
Yes, and just through everything, even with getting married, people who I thought, as I said, would be there
In
weren't.
episode 6, we spoke with Jason Kennedy. Art isn't always what we create, but it's how we live.
The moment that I knew that I was being real to what I was trying to produce is I had some people come to me and ask me if I think that would sell and is it commercially viable, and realistically the answer is I don't know. So me taking a risk, I think, was and having that feeling meant that I was being honest with what I was trying to produce versus I'm going to just paint something that I know is going to sell because it's going to be super easy and basic and safe. And none of these pieces are safe. Some of them are even confusing in nature. They're levitating boats, right? The surrealism aspect isn't necessarily for everybody. So I don't know. I think being authentic is being able to go into something and having that fear and still, you know, pressing ahead and just doing it regardless of how it's going to be perceived by whoever.
And last but not least, we spoke with Jabari. Reminder that finding your voice takes time, and sometimes you're still creating while you're currently becoming.
I never knew that I like to socialize so much because I used to be isolated, man. I used to be introverted. I'm like, oh, these people don't understand me. They won't get me. But finding people who like the same things that you like, even who knows, they don't like the same thing, but you still have like a bond, you know?
Yeah.
And it brings all of us together, you know?
Yeah, everybody struggles with self-doubt. As I said before, I was not the most confident person. And I'm going to keep on saying it. That is a point of authentic. It's really saying, hey, I'm not perfect. I have my flaws. I am a human. I'm growing. I'm learning. I've been through it. And what better way is to live vicariously through others? The whole point, as I said, storytelling. We learn through other people's story. Just as you said, but Marley inspires us. How did we learn? From his stories, the stories he tells through his music, and really that's what it is. But trust me, I am so happy that you found that place. And that is one of the key things is when you put yourself out there. And that's something that I am trying to teach people, that at some point, yes, you're in a stage and you're in a rut, but you don't have to stay there.
Right.
You have to make that conscious choice. This cannot be it. There must be more to what's going on. And you took the initiative, as you said, and you put yourself out there and you found your tribe. You found your tribe. Trust me. I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Across time, cultures, and belief system, one truth keep repeating itself. Authenticity is freedom. The Buddha taught us that peace comes from knowing oneself, not from the attachment of labels, possessions, or expectations. He reminds us that suffering begins when we try to be something we're not. Maya Angelou taught us that there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Bob Marley lived his truth unapologetically, reminding us that love, justice, and humanity are universal languages. James Baldwin showed us that authenticity often takes courage, especially in a world that resists truth. It doesn't matter where you're from, your creed, your religion, your background. At the core of it all, we share one thing: our humanity.
This isn't the end. This is the closing of one chapter to make space for a new one. To every guest who has trusted this space to tell their truth, to tell their story, to unhurt their authenticity, I want to say to every viewer, to everyone who has streamed and supported the show, words cannot express my gratitude. I want to say, be a beacon of light. Learn to be kind. Learn to be gentle with yourself. Learn to develop a relationship with who you are at your core. Remember, life is an ongoing process. And you got good days, you got bad days. I mean, that's a part of the journey. But the sooner you're able to honor it, and the sooner you're able to appreciate every bits and pieces, you'd understand that it's a part of that yellow brick road that leads you to the right path. I'm your host, Rayon. I want to say thank you guys so much again for joining us for season 1 of Authentic, the show where we speak about love, we speak about authenticity, and we speak about finding truly who we are at our core. Remember to stay authentic, to stay true, and if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love nobody else? This is Authentic, and season 2 is coming. Thanks for watching. Stay authentic.